Yo, guys, it's Old Man G here, RDS here, back again with obviously some breaking news that's been coming out. I'm also testing this whole day thing. So I usually stream at 10 p.m. BST, but I'm actually going to be streaming. I'll see how it is streaming at this time, basically. So 10 p.m. But anyway, before we get into it, guys, if you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at Red Devil Studio X. Smash the like button, bottom right hand corner, etc. But we've got some breaking news for you guys. Manchester United have raised another bid, according to Rob Dawson from ESPN, who, in fairness, is actually quite a reliable source. This has obviously been corroborated by Fabrizio and others as well, that they have obviously are preparing to raise or submitting a second bid from Mbeumo. Obviously, the first bid beforehand was rejected. So they're going to be submitting a second offer, which is over 60 million, and United are pushing to complete the deal, says Rob Dawson of the ESPN crew. And listen, I think that I would suspect, like we talked about in the previous show yesterday, that any bid or any offer would probably be in the realms of fifth. I would think if they're going to submit 60 million pounds, it's going to be 50 million as a hard fee, because that's what Brentford wants. They want 50 million pounds, and then after that, they will probably proceed to then have to 10 million in add-ons. So 50 million pounds. Likely the bid structure is going to be 50 million pounds as a secure bid, and then obviously 10 million in add-ons as well. I suspect that is what is going to happen going forward. And yeah, I obviously, I mean, I'll just quickly sort of share. Fabrizio also has commented on this. I'll just share that as well, so that if people are a bit like, oh, what's going on? Fabrizio has also said, Manchester again in direct club to go to Brentford for Bryan Mbeumo. Second proposal ready after 40 million plus to reject, as United are ready to get closer to Cunha evaluation. So effectively, they corroborate each other. Rob Dawson said the value is going to be 60 million in total. Already, you see that the value of 45 plus 10 million add-ons comes to 55 million. So, as I said, as I called yesterday, I just suspect that it will be a 50 million bid plus 10 million add-ons, some relatively easy add-ons, and then they'll basically sort of take things from there. That's what I would suspect is going to happen. Now, I'm just going to put a poll in the chat. So who should we sign after Mbeumo? A striker or a goalkeeper? I'm curious to see what you guys think about this, or a goalkeeper. So let me know what you think about that. That would be an interesting thing to keep the polls on. So this news, I'll go back to obviously the Dawson post. But I'm sharing the Fabrizio post to show the reality that United are going to be very close in securing Mbeumo. I think actually that we're probably going to secure the signing this week, possibly next week. It's clear that Mbeumo, and I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that Mbeumo actually made it clear that he wanted to go to Manchester United. Both Cunha and Mbeumo have made it very clear that they want to go to Manchester United. So therefore, and Mbeumo in particular has been pushing to come to Manchester United. He's really pushing to join the club. And so given that Mbeumo is pushing to join Manchester United, it stands to reason, so that United will at least try as best as they can to secure that, to secure him, So yeah, that's at least the major updates. We obviously had yesterday the fact that the initial bid of 45 or 10 million was rejected, and it was below the value that Manchester United had for Mbeumo. Brentford had for Mbeumo anyway. But the reality is that United are back in for him as well, and United will probably secure the guy. And as someone who is has been following Manchester United's transfers. So I do think it's obviously good to see Manchester United doing business early on. I've said so many times that we should be doing that. I've also said that Manchester United actually securing a bid for Mbeumo means that we probably have maxed out our transfer budget, and so therefore Manchester United need. I mean, Manchester United need I'm looking at the poll again. So a lot of people saying striker as opposed to goalkeeper. Big up Jay in the chat, man. Thanks for joining. Bryce says, do you think Brentford will accept this new bid? I don't see us putting another bid in. Yeah, I think so. I think Brentford have already said that they're pointing to the Wolves bid of Kuhn and saying, listen, you spend 60 million for Kuhn, we want something similar to that. And I think also they said in the previous bid that was rejected that they want at least 55 million as a sort of as a guarantee, which I think is what this new bid is going to be. It's similar to the Kuhn bid. So I think, like I said, it will probably be 50 million pounds with 10 million pounds add-ons, and I think Brentford will probably be happy with that. If you then combine that with the player himself wanting to move, then I think that will work. It obviously helps that I don't think that Arsenal or any other Premier League club really is going to probably be spending that amount of money. I don't think. I don't see Arsenal. I mean, they might do. I'm not sure, but they might do. But I just think that it would be maybe at most it goes to 55. It goes to 55 guaranteed with like either 5 million or 10 million add-ons. But I can't see us giving Brentford 60 million guaranteed or above that. It will be between, I think, 45, which was what was rejected, and 55 million guaranteed plus the transfer. That's what I think. But we'll see what happens. But thank you for the share. I appreciate it, man. Remember, guys, if you're on stream, to like, share, and subscribe to Streetball on Twitter. It certainly makes a difference. I'm going to be trying to stream a bit more frequently. We still probably will be doing our 10 o'clock show with another transfer news show as well, and probably just look at some other Premier League transfers as well, because Manchester City are cooking as well. But yeah, I think that I'm just checking to see if there's any further updates. Let's have a look at Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs, I think, has been one of the journalists that's been on this deal a lot. What has he said? What has Ben Jacobs? He did recently talk about the Manchester United fixer results, which I think is probably a good thing, because it looks like we at least seem to be doing a little bit better in that department. So hopefully that means money on transfers. And yeah, Ben Jacobs has said pretty much the same thing, that United is to make an improved second bid for Bryan Mbeumo. 45% in the first of now was rejected by Brentford, but parties have remained in talks since. So I think that just goes to show you that I think Brentford obviously want this deal as well. Both parties have remained in talks. They both want to secure, they want to secure a deal. They want to get the deal over the line. So I don't think this is going to be a situation where I think Brentford will want a deal. And so I don't see this being as a situation where Brentford are going to be holding out, so for more money from Manchester United to extort them, because I suspect Brentford also, especially with Thomas Frank going, etc., they want probably transfer funds. It'll help them in their transfer window as well, to make outgoings to obviously survive the Premier League next season. So yeah, I think I just think that if we pay, I think I would be fairly confident that a 50 million plus 10, Brentford will be happy with it. Maybe maximum 55 million plus 10, would be fair again as well. We'll see what happens. But I think that would be, for someone who, like I said, is yes, he plays for Brentford, a mid-table side. They're better than us, quite frankly. and he's Premier League proven. He's scored 20 goals in the Premier League. So I don't think this is, at worst, this will be a Lukaku situation. But quite frankly, Lukaku actually scored more goals than in all competitions than our forwards did over the last 2-3 years. So if we can at least get that goal output from Mbeumo, considering that he's obviously not, I would imagine he's not going to be the out and right striker. It's probably going to be someone like Gyökeres, who we'll talk about a little bit later. I think that'll be good numbers. Jay Reed says, do you think we will loan out Toby Collett, or would you keep him because we don't have many options in that position? I mean, it seems that Amrin wants a new midfielder. He wants Amrin wants a new midfielder. He wants to fit his system. Now, I would imagine that new midfielder is there to complement Bruno, because Bruno, he wants Bruno to stay. Bruno's his captain. Bruno's going to be there. So as I've said, but you can't play Bruno and Casemiro in a double pivot. You just can't. You need a midfield that has legs, that is pacey, etc. And Bruno's on big up Dublin games, man. I hope you're doing well, buddy. So what I definitely know for a fact is that Mainu, could he still do that? Because there are talks that Mainu might obviously sort of go. I don't think that has anything to do with Bruno staying, quite frankly. I just think that it's because, much like Garnacho, could Mainu actually adapt to the system that that Amram has? It doesn't seem to be. So it just seems to be like, right, okay, off you go. That's it. I think it's harsh. I would like Mainu to come. I would like Mainu to stay. But we're in a sort of we're in a situation right now where Manchester United need to make key signings. And I just think that Toby, Mainu, Cassie, Bruno are not the midfield profile that Amram needs. And Bruno is basically not going anywhere. And obviously, if you're buying Cunier and Mbeumo for the amount that you're paying, you presumably, at the end of the day, because Amram doesn't play with actual wingers, you only really have 3 forward positions, the 2 number 10s and the attacker. But we have a gazillion attackers, because obviously we used to play wingers. Obviously, Anthony, Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho, obviously he's going, etc. And then obviously Bruno sometimes plays there, Ahmad plays there, etc. So where do these guys fit? Mount, even, someone like Mason Mount, for example, I don't really know where Mount fits here. If you're playing Cunier and Brentford is the number 10s, unless you rotate and Brentford up top, I don't know where someone like Mount fits in if you want to show in Bruno. And the only way I feel that they're going to show in Bruno is to play him in the midfield. That's fine. He has to have the defensive discipline to be there, but you need someone alongside him. You've got Ugarte there, who it doesn't seem Amram rates, because why did he not play in the final, quite frankly? I would have played Ugarte and Casemiro, or Ugarte and Bruno, for example, or why not Ugarte? I don't know. All I know is that we have essentially 2 midfield spots, 2 midfield spots, and we have Casemiro, Bruno, Mainu, Collier, Ugarte. So we have 5 players for 2 spots, and yet we still need to sign another midfielder. Make that make sense? So I suspect, Collier is going to go out on loan, unless Amram obviously, likes it. Big up, guys. Gorman's got 70 people watching. Please, 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 if you are new, like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, bottom right-hand corner. Smash on notifications, etc. as we continue to do some more of these live streams. Please support the channel, guys. I really appreciate it. If you haven't liked the video already, please drop a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please drop a subscribe as well. We're trying to push to 5K subscribers by the end of the year. But definitely, if we can get to 5K subscribers by the end of the summer transfer window, that would be even better. Ideally, 10K would be nice, So, but yeah, let's see what happens. Which I agree with you. I'm not the biggest fan of this formation, because now we just have something. Well, exactly. Ahmad is different because Ahmad is adaptable. So Ahmad can play the wing back role, so that's fine. but Garnacho can't do that. Rashford can't do that. Sancho can't do that. Ansi can't do that. So they're gone. I think it is a risk because I think that, you know, if you now are doing that, if it doesn't work out for Amorim, then we're in a situation where we now have a team that's built around him, and yet we don't have any real players, basically. So to play for that manager, any real ringers, and that's going to be difficult. Obviously, Amram could play there. I know that, and you could make an argument that going for someone Kuno and Mbeumo, are these really Amram type players, or is this the board basically doing its thing? Okay, actually signing players that will be good for Manchester United, but good for any manager. For me, that's actually the best point to call. So big up everyone since must be watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, bottom right corner. So just going to Fabrizio's post again, for those who are obviously tuning in, Fabrizio did say that United are in direct club to contact. So there is obviously ongoing contact with Manchester United and Brentford for Bryan Mbeumo. Even though the initial proposal was rejected, I always said that it was going to be rejected predominantly because Mbeumo's contract has just been extended, so he's got 2 years left on his contract, right? So Brentford are in no rush or position. They don't need the money, and then no rush or desire to sell the guy. So United, quite frankly, were always going to have to match, or at least come close to matching, Bryan Mbeumo's evaluation. Now, the only thing I would say to this is, obviously, if we do that, then once again, as I've always said, I think that that's the sort of the free transfer budget finished on Kune and on Mbeumo. So then the question goes to, well, okay, crap, we now need to make sales. The obvious ones would be Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho, etc. Although we're not going to be making a lot of money. But yeah, and yeah, I won't even mention it. Yes, the personal term has been agreed. Yes, personal terms have been agreed. With Tyler Parker says, because I put it in the channel, so I should start. But yeah, personal terms have actually been agreed with Manchester United and Mbeumo. So, you know, personal terms. In fact, let me just get this up here. Yeah, I mean, there is at Manchester United news, the sort of saying, I'll be like, yeah, I mean, the Mirror. I mean, because I'm quoting British newspapers here, so there are obviously some British newspapers here. So I will just put that up because you know, although I wouldn't put them as reliable, my top tier reliables are Ornstein, Fabrizio, and Ben Jacobs. Then you have people like I said, Dawson and a few other people, the Mail, Mirror, that can kind of get murmurings, you know. So Disco Mirror is a UK newspaper outlet. It's the Mirror, part of the Mirror Group, you know, so they often report on transfer news. And if I just share this with you guys, yeah, United they say that, you know, in added to what we've said, that United obviously have agreed personal terms with Bryan Mbeumo over a 5-year contract with option of an extra year. There are some outlets that are saying that the value is the salary is 174, but I wouldn't go there just yet. But yeah, I think personal terms were never really going to be a problem with so, you know, yeah. The person was Mr. Lopez says, and Bremen will be a good addition to attack, but also defense. They need to push for Jokeres if this deal materializes. Yes, they do. It's just that what I would say, MC Lopez, is just that the Mbeumo and Kune bid together. But I think basically that is Manchester United's transfer budget. I think, you know, if we're going to get Jokeres, who's going to be 70 million euro or 60 million pounds, as someone who lives in the UK, we need to make sales. I do think and people might not like me saying this, but I do think if you sell Garnacho for 60 million somehow, I think that would be enough to go for a Gyökeres. But yeah, you need to make sales. You need to sell. If we sell Rashford and Garnacho, then you probably can get Gyökeres and possibly a midfielder, I think. But there's no word on the transfer window is obviously just opened, and really the only murmurings I'm hearing from sales is we know that Sancho definitely wants to go. There's no doubt about that. We don't know about, and we know that there's been talk about is Garnacho staying or not, blah 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 blah. But yeah. So we could here we go soon. Yes, we could possibly hear here we go soon. I think the key thing really to summarize for those coming in is that United have submitted or are submitted a new bid for Bryan Mbeumo, which is close to Brentford's evaluation. So I'm expecting a new bid, a deal close or confirmation or whatever it is, as you can see in the banner, fairly soon, possibly in the next maybe tomorrow, maybe the next couple of days. By the end of the week, I think this deal is going to materialize fairly quickly, and that's good for Manchester United because I like the fact that we're doing under the glaze. Well, we're still on the glaze, but under Woodward, the Priestmanship, we were doing a lot of these deals, and we take ages to do them, Yet now, that's not the case. Big up everyone who's watching. Please, let's get to 100 people watching. Guys, 100 people watching. Please like the vid. Let's get to 100 likes even, so 100 will be good. Let's get likes up, please. I'd really appreciate it. So it helps with the channel. So, who should United sign after Mbeumo? Yeah, a lot of people saying a striker before a goalkeeper. So it's good that we're all in agreement with that because quite frankly, I know a lot of people want it on the go, and I agree with that. But the reality is that when you look at the defensive and goal-scoring records, United did not concede that many more goals than a lot of the top 6 or 7 sides last season. I know Ronaldo makes mistakes, but when you look at the total goals conceded of the league, it wasn't that much different than most clubs in the top 10. What was different was the amount of goals that we scored. We scored just slightly more goals than teams that got relegated. So it's clear to me where a priority should be for Manchester United. It needs to be in the attacking part of the field. And then we can sort out the goalkeeper later when that's also. The next thing should be we need to go out and get a striker. Let's go to some comments again, guys. Did we agree 200 a week? I've looked at this. I'm trying to find sources for that. I'll be honest with you guys. If there's sources for a 5-year contract. There's sources for terms agreed. There's sources, but I can't see any. I would say legitimate sources for his wages. And to be honest, I would probably wait until there's a here you grow before you look at wages, because a lot of the wage speculation is just that. It's just speculation. So I would just, forget about it. Okay, this might be significant. I'm going to quickly share this for this post from Fabrizio. Fabrizio has just tweeted, and this might be quite significant when it comes to the Gyökeres situation. So we'll quickly take just a detour from Mbeumo and just quickly talk about it, because this post from Fabrizio, I think, is quite significant. It's not only to Manchester United, but I'll just share this with you guys. Understand, Arsenal are now advancing in negotiations for Benjamin Sesko after initial concrete talks report last week. Discussions underway and proceeding well between all parties involved, players and clubs. No agreement yet now, expect this weekend, but advancing. Now, this is big. Because, as I said, guys, Arsenal, for me, were the only other club that I could see that were interested in going for Gyökeres. Okay? If Arsenal are set on getting Sesko, they're not going to spend another 60, 70 million euros on getting Gyökeres as well, I would think. So, with City with Haaland, with Liverpool with Nunes, with Newcastle with Isak, Chelsea have got their new number 9, Delap, and they've got Nico Jackson, and Arsenal have got or will be getting a Sesko. And with not really that much interest from La Liga or the Bundesliga, etc., there is a door open for United to get Gyökeres now. There is a massive door open for United to get Gyökeres now. You know, Gyökeres has said, as we said in the show yesterday, you know, he's been in contact with Amram. He wants to play with Amram. He appreciates Amram. He thinks that that Amram is he wants to play with him. So even without UCL football, which was the key, because we didn't know whether he would want to come, it's confirmed that he's happy to come to Manchester United without UCL football. But the main thing is, can we get the money? Can we get the money? Ideally, when the Mbeumo deal is done, we need to hear about outgoings. From Manchester United to whether it's Rashford, Garnacho, etc., to clubs, for us to be able to secure Gyökeres. But this is big, because I think there was always rumors and talks about should Arsenal. There was always this discussion as to whether or not Arsenal will choose between Sesko and Gyökeres, who they're going to pursue, etc. But the fact that this is actually their deal is actually advancing with Arsenal, I think confirms that. Because, you know, my only worry was that if Arsenal would switch on Gyökeres, Arsenal could spend 70 million euros now and secure Gyökeres. And then, you know, would Gyökeres decline move to Arsenal? Would he decline? I'm not 100% sure if they pay the full amount and United is still fumbling. This gives us some time to be able to pursue Gyökeres going forward. Let's read some comments, guys. Same thing I want is, I assume it's about the, it was just that. Is Sporting number 9 going to come to United? As I said, Bao, with this update, hopefully that that clarifies things, because I think that he can. United and Amram want Gyökeres. I do think that we can sign Gyökeres, but we need to make outgoings. We need to make outgoings. We need it. We need to. In fact, I might have to. Let me put this in a poll again. Big up everyone who's been in the poll. 104. So the question of who should United sign after Mbeumo? 85% striker, 50% goalkeeper. So people see the need. So I appreciate that. So what I will do and start a poll is for you guys to say, who should United sell? Who should United sell to fund Gyökeres? Because we do have to sell. We do, unfortunately. Rashford, Garnacho. I mean, you've got to put Mainoo's on the table as well, guys. Who else? And then I guess you could probably put Sancho, Anthony, in this category as well. Though they'll be sort of losses, as it were, but they're kind of there. So I'll put that poll up for you guys as well. Oh, guys, almost 100 plus people watching. Please like the video, subscribe to Devil Street bottom in the corner. What is Amris? What is taking United long to sign Brentford? It's not taking that long. It's just that they obviously need Manchester United need time. We need to see what's going on. But I do think that we will once this second bid comes in, I think Brentford will accept it. I genuinely believe Brentford will accept the bid from Manchester United, which I suspect is 50 million plus 10 million add-ons. You know, so stuff like this takes time. So you've got to be patient in negotiation. So it's good. I think Brentford will accept it because they want to. Yeah, exactly. I guess 50 million plus 10 million add-ons. I think Brentford would accept it. They wanted 50 million guarantee as well. I generally think that Brentford will probably accept this deal. So I don't have any worries here. Red Devil United, big up Rich, big up RDS and chat. Gyökeres next. Exactly. Make sure for those who are watching, you go and subscribe to Red Devil United as well. He goes live 3 times a week. Sorry, 3 times a day. Sorry, as well. And it's just hit 5K subscribers. So big up Rich and Red Devil United as well. So support the channel as well. But thanks, Rich. Stanley just says, let them start selling that so that it'll be able to compete other deals. Yeah, this is the key. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to sell. We need to sell quickly. We should be able to do it online. My only worry is that we've not really heard, because I think so. So for example, Stanley, for someone like Rashford obviously wants to go to Barcelona, but it sounds like Barcelona may consider it, but it'll be more towards the end of the window. Okay, you know, when they've done their major signings, their dealings, what money do I have to left? Okay, Rashford wants a pay cut. We might be able to get it done. He forces a move, concessions for United. So I'll be honest, I just don't think that we're going to get a Rashford deal done right away. Sancho is going to be quite complicated. A lot of the United outgoings are complicated. Sancho is complicated because he doesn't want to reduce his wages, which is why he's not at Chelsea, for example. We'd have 20 million if he didn't have that. So which club is going to sign him? Anthony, you know, there are obviously clubs interested in Anthony. That's good. But again, he probably will have wage stipulations as well. So to be honest, the easiest signing or sale will be Garnacho. But will you be able to find a club that will pay for at least 60 million for Garnacho? Possibly, maybe the Italian clubs. I think maybe Conte can do us a solid, and he might push for 60 million. I could probably see that, Conte doing it that way. That, for me, is the closest thing right now. I don't think Rashford would want to go to Serie A. And then as far as everyone else goes, I personally want Shaw, Mount out of the club. You know, because they're both injury prone and they're not particularly reliable. So if we could get some money for Shaw and we can get some money for Mount, that's a possibility. Obviously, Ten Hag is part of Leverkusen, so we'll see. Landy Brown says, who you think would buy Rashford? I mean, all I know, Landy is he wants Barcelona. He really wants Barcelona. You know, that's it. I mean, looking at the poll here, it's interesting. Yeah, so far, some of the votes. Who should United sell to fund Gyökeres? So far, 40% of say Rashford. So there's a lot of, so 21% saying Garnacho, Mainu 2%, obviously, and Sancho and Anthony 35% as well. You know, so like the reality is that I'm surprised how many people turned on Rashford. It's interesting. It is interesting. Going for some comments. United seems to be getting transfers right these past seasons, but it's about outgoings now to show we can sell well now too. Exactly, so exactly. Can we sell well low? You know, I'm not sure yet, because unfortunately the legacy of this club is that we just put players on ridiculous wages. That is always going to be the in my opinion, the killer problem to Manchester United is sorry guys, 1 second, is selling players is not a problem. The issue is just like we saw with Sancho and Chelsea was, well, hang on a minute, like I want to sell, I want to stay because I want to stay on my contract because I want to I still think or believe that I'm worth this amount of money. That is the big issue. Come on, guys, 100 people watching, but only 44 likes. Come on, let's at least get to 50 likes, guys. Come on, let's at least get to 50 likes, guys. Come on, let's get to 50 likes. You know, come on, let's get there. Ideally, 100 likes would be great on this video. And if you're new, like I said, subscribe to the channel, but we would appreciate it. It says rumors into making a Rashford bid. Hope something happens. Where, if you're still listening, Rich, where is that source? I'd like to see the source for that. I will quickly just look and see who F365 are they? There's a parody account at Sport. At Sport. Okay. Maybe that's possible. I mean, I think I would I think that's a possibility. I think obviously I would think that Hojlund, who might be someone who might also go as well, the Inter, because that was the last thing I checked, is that Inter wanted Hojlund. So it'd be interesting for them if that was the case, to go for Rashford instead. Ban says sell all of them. Matcha says swap for Sancho. Who would you swap for Sancho though? Making moves, good and proper. Yes, be fully big up. I sure do want that guy out, but it's hard. Yeah, I know it's hard to get those guys out. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Especially because they were given new contracts by the old regime. And Ten Hag really messed up when it came to our signings. I don't think Mount is going to go, but I would make the case that with Kune and this is the thing. It's not even about like getting the players out. It's just that where do these players play? Where do they play? You know, if you're bringing in Kune and Mbeumo, where does Mount play if he's not injured? Because Mount can only play in the 10 position. He's not going to play deep in the midfield. He's not going to be a striker or false nine. So Mount is competing with Kune and Mbeumo there, although Mbeumo can be up top, I guess, sometimes. Bruno will obviously be there. Ahmad can potentially be there, although he'll be right wing back, and obviously Dzeko. So Mount will be a bench player. And with the World Cup coming on soon, that's what people need to think about. The World Cup is next year. This season, that's why I assume Rashford is pushing to go to Barcelona, and so many players are pushing for football, because if you are not going to be playing regular starting football for your club, you might not get a call up. If I'm Mason Mount, I'm thinking, speaking to Amazon, am I going to get guaranteed play time? I know Tuchel loves this guy and might bring him along anyway, but the reality is that, you know, I just can't see how Mason Mount can be a regular starter for Manchester United in this team. It just doesn't make sense. How far is one's coming from Bremo? So second bid gone in. Second bid is going in, which I think will be enough to secure. I would suspect either tomorrow or the following day that we get a here we go. I genuinely think that this deal is very, very, very close. Brentford seem like they're cooperative, so I think this deal is very, very close. Let me actually go back to my original tweet, because people just see the Arsenal thing, so I'll just share that for those who obviously are tuning in as well. Let me hit Bryan, Kobe at Kobe 21. You'll need to call the Avengers to save you against Bajo, because there's absolutely zero chance your club wins. That's what. Is it true that Gyökeres can't enter? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm fairly sure he can head a ball. Although that's maybe although potentially that's maybe not his strengths, but I think he definitely can do that. By the way, why would Man United sign Vlahovic or David? Both. I mean, Rush. That is a good point. You know, that is a good point. I mean, the only thing I would say is that Juve are interested in getting a new striker. Do they really rate Vlahovic? And I do have a issue with I don't know. There's Syria. There's what I call Syria attacks. Because I think if you're prolific in the sales as a striker, you know, you're seeing McTominay banging goals for Napoli, and it's like, interesting. I'm not sure if that translates to the Premier League. That's the first thing. The second thing is what their wages are. I agree with you with Jonathan David. I don't really know why we're not linked to someone like Jonathan David. It's possible that we might consider later down the line. With Vlahovic, maybe it's the thing. The number says the poll is weird. It's not really weird, because the reason why it's there is because, you know, United are not going to be able to buy Gyökeres without sales. You know, United are not going to be able to sign Gyökeres, in my opinion, without sales. Gyökeres is going to be worth 70 million euros. That's what Sporting have agreed, and we need to get potentially closer. We may be able to negotiate Sporting down a little bit, but even to put in a 60 million euro bid for Gyökeres, we need to make sales. So the whole point of the poll is to say who should United sell to help fund that process. And obviously, according to the poll anyway, so far with a good amount of votes, at least 40% of you are saying Rashford, 36% are saying Sancho / Anthony, 80% Garnacho and Maino. So obviously a lot of people want the kids to stay. I don't think anyone wants Maino to go, but there you go. Liquor in the fun poke in the air. Mount is too injury prone. Doesn't matter how good he is. Yeah, that's why I wouldn't go. I do want Mount to go. I do. But the problem is that who's he going to go to? And it just seems that people seem to like this guy. Everyone seems to like Mount. He seems to be this really, really, really favorable guy. So I don't see him being sold, but at the same time, I don't know where he plays. So if I'm a player and I have the World Cup next year, and I'm not guaranteed game time, surely you'd want to make a move to play for a team where you're going to get regular goals. That's what I think. Regular appearances. We don't play with wingers, we play with 2 10s and a forward. So where's Mount going to play if you're signing Mbeumo and Cunha? And on top of that, you've got Bruno as well that can play there. Ahmad could come and potentially play there, although he'll probably be more on the right as a right wing back. What happens? I know you need depth, and so Mount can add to the squad as part of squad depth, but I don't get it. Sell all of them, including the club itself. Well, I would like there to be a reset, but at least we seem to be getting our business done early. So let's see what happens there. I'm just gonna have a quick look. As I go live, I try to keep live with transfer stories, but for those obviously tuning in just now, Mbeumo, second bid from United is going in, but obviously Fabrizio has just mentioned that Arsenal look like they are going for a Benjamin Sesko now. And the talks are advancing. So if Arsenal do get Benjamin Sesko or looking to get Benjamin Sesko, then I think that this means that United are definitely interested in are definitely front runners in signing in getting Gyökeres, who United desperately need, because we need another attacker. We do. So yeah, nothing that I can see there. Chris says Garnacho has to go. He has the wrong attitude, and plus he is pure profit. And this is the thing, So I mean, going back to the poll, I know only almost 20% of you want Garnacho to go. But out of all the 4, I'd argue that he's the most likely to go, just because he's a young player and he'll be a lot more easier to sell, to make considerable profit on. Rashford, Mainu, you could probably sell Mainu and make profit, but I don't think that there's appetite yet, unless the club say that he has to sell to get another midfielder. Sancho and Anthony, you can obviously sell them, but how much profit they're going to generate, considering that we're at a loss, if that makes any sense, for with those players, because we spent 90 million on Anthony and 70 million on Sancho, and when we will barely get 25 million for Sancho, so that's a 50 million loss, and Anthony maybe 30 or 40. So those are significant losses on those 2 players. Significant losses. I'm even scratching my head going, oh my goodness, how the hell did Ten Hag con this entire fan base to spend? Think about it before I move on. I don't want to deviate, but think about it. We spent 90 million on Anthony. We spent 72 million on Raasmus. We spent 60 million on Mason Mount, or 65, I think. How did Ten Hag and the board convince us that was a good use of Manchester United's money? to almost 200 million on 3 average players. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Whatever you say about Oli and Mourinho and things signings, at least their signings, even the ones that were expensive, still kind of work for United. I mean, Maguire, people think Maguire's, but Maguire's now is now a regular star. So it was 80 million well spent because he's still at the club, but he's still starting, he's still doing clutch things. Like, he was kind of clutch for us. Let's be not gonna lie. He scored that clutch header, you know. So let's be real. But you know, the others, there you go. Rush, Man United need 2 strikers, not just one, because neither Xerxes nor Hojlund were good. David Ovac will be back. I like David more. He got experience too young. Yeah, exactly. I would prefer Jonathan David as well. I don't think we're gonna. I do agree with you that Xerxes and Hojlund need to improve. For me, actually, I've always said, for me, I feel Xerxes a 10. For me, 9.5, 10, you can interchange, etc. So for me, I don't think you can get rid of Xerxes and Hojlund. And also, we didn't actually spend that much on Xerxes. For me, Hojlund, you probably has to go out on loan, maybe to Inter, to get his confidence back, because his confidence is shot. It's just shot. He's not doing the basics well. It's not working at all for me. So you get Gyökeres in, and then you have obviously Cunha and then Mbeumo, but then you have Xerxes who can fill in the 10 role, in the 9 role, you know, because for me, I think Xerxes can ball with ballers around him, you know, but it's just that he's not going to be a prolific scorer. So you need a striker like Gyökeres to be there. If you had Gyökeres and then Cunha and Mbeumo, then you can potentially put in Xerxes in as backup with, you know, I guess Bruno or Mount, you know, if Bruno's not going to play deep. But I just see Bruno having to play deep because, like I said, I don't know where Mount gets it. He fits in here. Last year, David had it. Yeah, no, he did. He did. I don't know why teams aren't. So there could potentially be baggage. It could be wage demands. I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Still 120 people watching. Guys. I know I keep on saying, but have you liked the video already? Have you subscribed already? Please do. Please hit that like button. Let's aim to get to 100 likes, guys, please. Yeah, Michael, to me, we should sell, Hojlund, Garnacho, Rashford, and Sancho. You're taking losses on Sancho and Hojlund, but Garnacho and Rashford makes sense. I'm not sure how we're going to sell him. I think it would look really, really bad for United to sell a young player they spent 70 million on and sell him in the first season. I think that's would be really bad for Manchester United. So even though I think that Hojlund right now is not good enough, I suspect that it'll be a loan. I don't think that Manchester United will be desperate to sign Hojlund. The only thing I guess I would say is that you know, where does he get his game time? And maybe, like I said, it will be better for him if Gyökeres is. The whole point was that Hojlund was supposed to be the backup striker to Kane. That was supposed to be the point. That didn't happen, and so now in a situation, you know, so where you know we've got to see what happens, you know. There's been a little bit of an update from Ben Jacobs. I will quickly bring that up. Just regarding United's transfers. So I will just change this and we'll bring up Ben Jacobs' update. That's why I like these. I prefer these live shows to uploading videos, because like you can react to things in real time, because a lot of this stuff, especially during the day, is it's ongoing, it's moving. So there's a lot of news constantly sort of coming out. So it's great. So let me just share this tab. We'll change the poll in a second as well, actually. Yeah, who should United fund to almost 200 yet? So I will change the poll in a second. I'm just trying to think of a poll question. So discussed. So as you can see here, hopefully everyone can see that, and I'll get rid of this as well. So discussed yesterday, Man City's new approach this window. Club wants to be decisive, but disciplined. Okay. So we can already see that in the fact that United are trying to get these deals done quickly over the line. Jason Wilcox, empowered to be ambitious with targets, but will also walk away from deals if value can't be found. Well, hopefully that's the case. I do agree that we really shouldn't be. I certainly don't want to be in a situation where United should be, spending 72 million on Hojlund. Hojlund was linked with PSG. We've seen with so many other teams. Now, no one will touch him because of what's happened at Manchester United. No one will touch him. But people need to forget, he was linked with PSG. He was linked with a lot of top clubs. He was. But he was never worth 72 million. Never. So we need to be ambitious and be decisive and act quickly instead of dragging our heels, trying to lowball all the time, like the previous regime did. The previous regime with Woodward basically lowballed, and then ended up overpaying. That was basically our strategy. This time, you lowball a little bit at the beginning, and then, increase it. And then if there's nothing, you walk away, which is what's happening here. Hope is to lead to strong business and less drawn out sagas. Exactly. The fact that we look like that we're close to signing Mbeumo for me means that we should just continue. Okay, yeah, Ben Jacobs. So I think he went on to Stretford Paddock, I think. And then he goes on and he says, it is also why there was an appeal in Mateus Cunha, seen as the right profile and with a clear market value release clause, including payment terms. Same story with Leon Delap's clause, even though Manchester United didn't succeed. But another target the club knew would make up his mind quickly on the club to either sign or, as it proved, move fast. And that's a fair point. This sort of idea of like, right, okay, we shouldn't really be trying to beg players to come to Manchester United. And breaking. In fact, okay. Ben Jacobs. Okay. Let me again. This is why I like real time. So let's share this tab again now. So Ben Jacobs has updated, and it's what we've basically been saying. So guys, are people saying that? So Manchester United's second bid now has been placed Brentford and is over 60 mil. Deal done is coming soon, guys. Deal done is coming soon. We said this. I mean, at Rob Dawson said this. As you can say, I can share this with tab with you. We said this from the beginning. Another bid. The offer is over 60 million. Rob Dawson mentioned it earlier in the day, which is why we started the show. And obviously, Ben Jacobs has now confirmed it now, saying United's second bid has now been placed for Bryan Mbeumo over 60 million. It's what we were saying. So for those who are saying that it wasn't going to happen, it's going to happen. It obviously has happened. United have put in a second bid of 60 million. And generally, guys, I think we might get it. Here we go. I am going to be live again at 10 p.m. today for another show, but I think that we might get a deal done today, guys. I generally think we might. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, we might get a deal done today. There was a very, very good chance, that we might get a deal done today. I think we might get it. Here we go. Deal done, etc. I think today, possibly Johnson Bomber. I'm not sure. But we might get one. We might get a deal done today, guys. Let me quickly see. Where am I now? And Brecker says it could be better Man United to overhaul the flops. Yes. Nick Gear says Manchester is back. Xerxes and MD faking Kuna is in attack with Fernandez, Ganacho, and Customer running around the middle with Delit and Butcher in defense. And yeah, I mean, we'll see, Nick. We'll see. I do think that midfield for me is still an issue. Yeah, Bomber, Benji. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I've seen it. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's what we said at the start. I mean, Rob Dawson mentioned it, and it's what I even said yesterday, that I would think that the bid was going to be around about 60 million line with Cunha. So I think that what's happened is we've submitted probably a 50 million bid with 10 million in add-ons to make it 60 million. Maybe 12 million the add-ons are trained, but I would suspect that it's a 50 million bid with 10 million, 12 million add-ons. So watch this space, guys, because I think a deal done is coming soon. I don't think Brentford are going to reject a bid that's near around here. I don't think we are. So yeah, big up. Mohammed says, I hope next season will be great. I hope so too, buddy. I hope so too, buddy. I hope so too. Detroit Rock City, big up, Detroit, man. The Benjamin Sesko ain't that? No, yeah. It looks like ain't that then. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because you're obviously Bundesliga fan. How is Benjamin Sesko doing? So, but he's clearly going to Arsenal. Arsenal seems to be, the place that he's going towards. So let's see what happens. Yep. Sorry. Charles Benjake ain't that guy, and that's after watching him at RB Leipzig. For me, I think that Sesko is going to be another Timo. I could be wrong. I don't want to jinx it, but I just have this feeling he looks like the type of guy that's going to be another Timo Werner. Okay, he's going to be another Timo Werner. That's what I think. Let's quickly look at the sales. So yeah, quite 200,000 votes. Big up, everyone, guys. Come on. We're almost on our way to 4.4 subscribers, please. So if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Delta bottom right hand corner. So I'll end the poll here with Rashford. So basically, most people want Rashford to go. Most people want Rashford to go. 44%. With Sancho and Anthony, 30%, and Garnacho 20%, and Mainu thingy. So right, okay. So that's that poll. So I will start another poll. Let's see how. I'm just thinking. I'll come up with an idea. I'll think about. I'll come up with an idea. But while I've come up with another good poll idea, I'm just gonna quickly see how many of you guys are supporting the channel. So let's see. Road to. There we go. And I'll just put that as a thing just for those channel. Right. Okay. Ban says Man United need a new goalkeeper. They need to go. They do. Ban. They do. Ban. They do need a new goalkeeper. However, Manchester United, we need to raise funds. And I would argue that it's not a priority compared to attack and the midfield. I know people going on Anana, it's fine, but the reality is that, like, if we had even scored, I don't know, 15, 20 more goals next season, we wouldn't be 15th. We wouldn't be. Ike exactly says we still need a prolific striker. Gyökeres, man. I mean, that's really the only. I can't think of any other strikers on the market. Like I said, Jonathan David has been mentioned, who would be a good backup, but I can't think of anyone else who in the striker market that is available. I can't. Big Nam says, Bryan, yeah. Phil, it's a Liverpool fan. Please don't believe United are getting Gyökeres. Gyökeres, what? No. Well, we've had this confirmed that he doesn't need it. From Ben Jacobs and journalists, we've had it confirmed, like, he doesn't need Champions League football. I'm not making that up. I'm not saying that United are definitely going to get Gyökeres, but it's been confirmed by Ben Jacobs and Fritz that, like, he doesn't need Champions League football. So the main thing is, can United submit the bid? And on top of that, Amrim and Gyökeres have been in constant communication because Amrim obviously was his previous coach. So if he's going to go to anyone, I mean, but the reality is that why didn't Arsenal go for him, for example, or any other team? You know, so I think so. It has already been confirmed that Gyökeres has no problem going to Manchester without European football. That's different. The issue is, can United make the funds to submit the bid? If they would submit a bid tomorrow for 70 million euros, Gyökeres would come to Manchester United. You know, big up, bro. Big up, bro. Big up, big up. Because do you think we will be needing to sort any defensive aspects? I'm not. Ike happiness, man. I'm not. I think in defensively, I mean, obviously the goalkeeper would be the main thing, but I don't think we're kind of stacked in defensive department, to be honest. I mean, think of it. We've got Maguire. Obviously, Lindelof is gone, and I'm sure he'll do well in Italy, another club. But Maguire's gone. Maguire's gone. Sorry, Maguire's here. Yoro's here. Mazwari's here. Aiden Heaven is here. Lisandro Martinez is here. De Ligt is here. And even Shaw, who can play as a left side, is there. You've got 7 defenders for basically 3 spots, effectively. Because I don't think Luke Shaw can play in the wing-back role well, frankly. So you'd be the left side of a left-sided centre-back pairing. So you've got 7 defenders for 3. Some of them can be injury prone, and that's the problem. But I don't think that United will be wanting to sign a central defender anytime soon. We had 9 almost. We let Evans and Lindelof go. You could make a case United could sell some. You know, Maguire obviously got a new deal. You know, Mazwari does play in the wing back role a little bit alongside Ahmad, but for me, he's better in a back 3. He's not a wing back. So he plays in the back 3. Likewise, Luke Shaw in this system, Luke Shaw and Mazwari make sense in the back 3, not as wing backs. Ahmad will be the wing back, for example. So we got options, yeah. But it goes, just sent myself 100 to Manchester United Victor. Let's go. I hope so too, buddy. I hope so too. Lachit says, apparently, if we don't get Gyökeres, we could be getting Mateta. Yeah, I think Mateta is definitely an option for Manchester United. The only thing I would say is that I think Crystal Palace, I'm not sure how many years, I think it has at least 2 more years. And I think Palace would probably want the same amount of money for Gyökeres, because Gyökeres is about 60 or 70 million euros, which is essentially what Crystal Palace want. They want 60 million pounds at least, which is the same value as Gyökeres. So if we can find 60 million for Mateta, why can't we spend on Gyökeres? You know? Appreciate all your time. Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. It really, really means a lot. It really, really means a lot. Like, this is it's for the community, it's for the fans, it's for you guys. And like I said, I appreciate your support. Big Name says Victor to United would make hearts beat 100 and ask pump. I'll be there. Yeah. There's a lot of, I'm surprised. There's so many haters, man. There's so many haters. I don't get it. There are so many haters. There are so many haters right now. Everyone doesn't. It's like they don't understand the United pull. I don't get it. They don't understand the United pull. You know, what's the deal? You know. So, and then let me. So the Gyökeres is trending again. Let me have a look. And like I said, says breaking. Brentford have an agreement fee. Is that what you're saying? Have Brentford so? Because if Brentford agree, we could get here. We go very soon. You know. Yeah, I mean, for those who have been saying, yeah, football team, Victor is double join Manchester, some even without joining his football corner reports. Yeah, so that was always going to be a thing. And that was Ben Jacobs who mentioned that, and Ben Jacobs is a reliable journalist. You know, I know that Sky Sports News have said United will look to sign number 9 after Mateus Cunha, Bryan and Mbeumo. Victor Gyökeres is one of the forwards Manchester. So he is one of the forwards Manchester United looking at. You know, there are others. Obviously, Victor Osimhen is still there, but his wages are going to be a bit of a problem. So, you know, it's if we don't get Gyökeres somehow, but we're waiting for the here we go thing soon. For me, here we go is going to be soon. I'll be live at 10 o'clock. Oh, we have also another update from Fabrizio. This time on, I like these day shows, guys, because I like at this time getting a lot of news that's just sort of coming in and that we can react to and discuss in the community. So just taking a bit of a deviant from Ben Jacobs, there's been a bit of an update from Fabrizio about Raasmus. Now, we did talk about Raasmus briefly, so let me just share this tab here. So Fabrizio has given us at least a little bit of an update, and he said Raasmus Hojlund remains high on Inter's list of targets as exclusively revealed in May. Obviously, you can see here Raasmus, he's interested in Italy. Understood Inter also considering him as an option for the summer. After Juventus and Napoli calls in March, Inter also explored Hojlund's situation. It's up to Manchester United. So Inter definitely are curious about Raasmus. Let's see if he can move. Well, let's see. Ika says, don't you think Kobeman would succeed in one of the 10 roles? Yes, I would. I do think he would. As opposed to, I prefer Kobe in the 10 than the midfield. But it doesn't seem that Amram thinks the same way. And also, we only have 2 number 10 roles. You have Cunha and Mbeumo, Mason Mount, Bruno potentially, and then Mainu, all vying for 2 positions. And you know that Cunha and Mbeumo are not coming to United to not start. So Mason Mount takes bench if he's not injured. Bruno, I guess, goes deeper into the midfield, which is a worry for me. And then Mainu presumably comes on as a sub. But I agree with you. I think Mainu would be a good number 10 in that position. But where does he fit? He's not staying in Brentford, he's going to the move. Beef Bully says RDS. RDS, screw the haters. I can't say that. Screw the haters, just enjoyed. Yes, bro. I mean, it's just funny. It really is funny how many people just don't seem to understand. I think, yes, United finished 15th, you're right, but United are one of the biggest commercially relevant genuine clubs in the world. That's who we are. So players know that if they sign to Manchester United, whether rightly or wrongly, they know that their value, their profile, their awareness goes up another gear. Sponsorship deals, country deals, all the rest of it. The Manchester United brand name means something. So it will, regardless of where Manchester United will finish, it will, that you can never get rid of that. Yeah, Manchester City also get revenue and also get brands from a lot of their daddy companies. Let's put it that way. But in terms of global, nah, it's United, especially given the fact that the owners have not played billions of pounds already. Sabidia, big up. I mean, Luke says will be allowed. Mateta is also highly welcome. Yep, I would welcome Mateta. I would, but Jokros would be first, in my opinion, obviously. Ipti says Raasmus should 100% go for loans into. Don't see him fitting into. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a 9-9, but it just doesn't seem to work. But yeah, I think that I would definitely be in a position where he should go loan into. I think a loan move for Raasmus, get his confidence back, keep scoring goals. A slow pace of the league, just work on a few things. At the end of the day, I feel bad for Raasmus because I just feel like he's a young player and he was expected to lead the line for Manchester United because Manchester United poorly planned going into the season. It was poor planning. I said so many times in the season, where's the United striker? Who's going to bring in the goals? I know Raasmus scored 15, but did they really think that Raasmus was going to score like 20 next season without any sort of additional support, especially with McTominay not being there? Nah, come on. That was bad. That was bad. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the bottom right hand corner, guys. Please keep on smashing that like and subscribing to the channel, guys. We'll be back probably 10 p.m. BST with some further transfer news. But for those obviously who are tuning in, Ben Jacobs has confirmed that United have indeed placed a second bid for Bryan Mbeumo over 60 million. And I say I'm expecting probably a done deal soon. We might, when we obviously it goes to here we go, we'll probably go live for that. I think we will go live very soon. I would expect that's coming either today or tomorrow because I just don't see Brentford I don't see Brentford I don't see Brentford decline the deal personally. Look in the front pocket. Raasmus should go to insert and give them Sancho 2 buy one get one free. The issue with Sancho is just his wages. That's always been the thing. It's his wages, you know, having to pay for his wages. So I think that the thing with Sancho is that he will I don't know. Maybe Dortmund would, but I just have this sneaking suspicion that Sancho's going to go on loan again. He's still got, I think, 2 years left on his deal. It's 2027, isn't it? So I just have this sneaky suspicion that it's going to be another loan move, because he's not going to want to cut his wages, as shown with him declining to go to Chelsea. I called a couple of hours ago that yep, 61.1 million. Yep, you did lucky. You did lucky. Big up, buddy. Kelly Raasmus should got on loan. Yep. Eddie says, well, Edward says Manchester United. Tan says Manchester has the most fans. It does. There's no debate about that. That's why we can and will and should spend the money to go. So, you know, we need to do it. Okay, guys, we are 14 subscribers away from 4.4 subscribers on the channel, guys. 40 subscribers. If you're listening and you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. Let's get to 4.4 subscribers by the end of the stream, by the end of the day. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. Everyone leave like exactly. North Korean Fan TV. I would be thinking of getting Tom Cleverley back instead of Bruno, of course. I think Todd Cleverley is enjoying his retirement, isn't he? So let's see what happens about that. I also Brentford deal on the deal done, by the way, Lucky. You are right about that. You are right. Brentford deal on the deal done. But yeah. I also want actually sorry, guys, give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Right, back. Sorry, needed to get some water for my Manchester United mug. See, there you go. Nice. I was speaking for an hour plus with no hydration. I also saw some rumors on United possibly buying Martinez. I think that would honestly win one of the best with some an season. I mean, to be honest, I don't think that Martinez is that great. He's a good shot stopper, but Onana's a semi-decent shot stopper. I talk in terms of penalties. I don't mind us going for Martinez, but the only thing that I would say is how much is it going to cost? You know, yes, if Onana goes and pushes to leave for Saudi, etc., we need to get another keeper, and I think a lot of it will depend on Onana going. And who's going to buy Onana, because so far I haven't heard of anything in terms of who is going to buy, aside from maybe Saudi potentially, but we've not really heard anything yet. So someone is going to basically have to come in and submit an offer on, I think, before we have any sort of any real circumstances, as it were, as to getting a new keeper first. There has to be a bid for him first before we consider looking at another keeper, is what I would say. Mini, if it says 60 million, bro, you have been held to ransom. I don't know. For a guy for a player who had what, 27 GA in the Premier League last season for Brentford, I think it's pretty good. And Brem was the 4th highest goal scorer in the league last season, behind, I think, Hojlund, Salah, and was it Isak? I think, yeah. It was Haaland, it was Salah, Haaland, Isak, and then Mbeumo. They were talking about goal scorers. So, I'm not sure. I wouldn't say 60 million is a bad thing for someone who's got 20 goals in the Premier League alone and 7 assists. I don't think that's a bad shout. Gil goes to, so can't go on loan in his final year. Water goes in a glass, by the way. Well, my water goes in a Manchester United mug. But thanks for the feedback. Sancho contract runs till 20 with an optional year, so he can't go on loan in his final year. True. Thank you for linking that, Nick. That's why I thought it was 27. It was the optional year, so he can't go on his optional year. So basically, I would assume United won't trigger the optional year. So we're trying to get something from him now. With a final year, in mind. I don't know. Sancho is it's going to be difficult for me, but it's going to be difficult for Sancho, I'd imagine. RDS Martinez heading to us for a Rashford exchange. But I don't think Rashford, there's been, but that's the thing. But there's been no indication that Villa wants to submit a bid for Rashford, though. Rashford went to Villa, did okay-ish, but there's nothing to suggest that Villa, who obviously missed out, maybe they would have got more if they'd had CL football, but he got injured. There's nothing really to say that Rashford, that Villa were interested in getting Rashford. Not at least not that I could see anyway. So where did you get your sources that we agreed personal terms with Bryan? Well, it was Ben Jacobs. But there was it was one of his tweets that was posted quite some time ago. But yeah, it was definitely Ben Jacobs. What I don't have source-wise is the wages. So it was Ben Jacobs that I think a while back posted about agreed personal terms before he talked about bids and stuff. He basically mentioned that there was no agreement that Mbeumo had no issue with coming to Manchester United. An issue coming to Manchester United, even though they haven't gone Champions League football, etc. But wages, that I don't have. Personal terms, yes. Wages, got no idea. And I know a lot of people are saying 175, 250. I can't see anything source-wise where wages have been publicly released. But personal terms, yeah. Thanking you, Lucky. Zena Longer says we don't need to change keeper now. We need a striker. Yeah. And I did put a poll in my chatting before that didn't mention that. It's like we don't need a striker. Sorry, we don't. We do need a new goalkeeper, I think, but I don't think that's as important as getting a striker. That's my personal opinion. I don't think it is. Oh, guys, we are 7 subs away from 4.4K subscribers, guys. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. It means a lot. Eddie says, big up RDS. United better not use this guy's eyes hit number 9. He needs partners hitting like, and maybe this is why United are going for, like, say, Kunin and Mbeumo. Because someone like a Mbeumo, for example, or Kunin could basically support him. Obviously, Xerxes there as well. Anyway, I'm all for the banter, bro. How I dropped, like, yeah, big up, bro. Big up, bro. Like I said, this community is for everybody, United fans, non-United fans alike. Just reporting on daily Manchester United transfer news. It gets very, very it gets very very spicy during the summer. I assume you're repeating, but yeah, obviously that's just to add to that box. I've added to that. Liquor and funnel, yeah. Villa can't afford, yeah, exactly. The biggest issue always for Manchester United players is just that Villa can't Villa cannot afford the wages for clubs cannot afford the wages for Manchester United players, which means it's difficult for United players to be offloaded. I've said this before, like, so unless the players are happy to take significant pay cuts, it's just not going to work. I think Anthony probably is happy to take a pay cut because of how depressed he was being at Manchester United. So I think that if we can get a reasonable fee for Anthony, maybe 40 million, you know, especially because unlike Sancho and Rashford, although I guess Sancho did pop up moments, Anthony really, really bored for Betis. So I think there are a lot of people see, oh, Anthony, this kid brilliant guy can do something. Prefers La Liga, etc. So I think we'll probably get some interest from, you know, maybe Atletico, maybe Betis, maybe Sevilla, etc. to try and get something for him. You know, Anthony has shown that he's a good baller outside of Manchester United. So I think we're more likely to get a semi-decent 40, 50 million bid for him than we are for Sancho, Rashford. And he's happy to take a wage cut. But Sancho and Rashford haven't really shown. I mean, Sancho's shown some stuff at Chelsea, but certainly not enough to warrant 200k a week. And Rashford likewise, you know, so they're going to be a lot harder to move. Otherwise, says we need to buy a Premier League proven striker, low budget, then go for Victor next season. But I mean, what low budget striker? There aren't really any. I mean, I guess Delap would have been it, but Chelsea obviously went for him. They spent 30 million on him. But for me, you know, United need a prolific goal scorer. And there isn't any really prolific goal scorers out there that are available for a lower amount. You can make an argument that 70 million for Gyökeres is a low amount in the strikers market right now because there are no strikers. You know, Victor Osimhen, obviously Oshi is there. Galatasaray also want to sign him, but I don't see how Galatasaray afford Victor's wages. I don't get it. How would they afford his wages? So I don't know. And it says, well then you will love this. I'm a blue 0161. What's a blue 0161? Is that I mean is that Chelsea fan? Chelsea? Big up, keep on liking the vid, keep on liking and subscribing, bottom right corner. RDS pay cuts or sevens payoffs are must if Ineos are serious about football, bro. Well, there you go. There is a lot of that. And I do like that Ineos are trying to get the wage bill under order to keep it sensible like most clubs. It's been ridiculous that fringe kills it should be earned. You know, I know a lot of people love Bruno and Rashford and other sort of players, but the reality is that like none of those players should be on salaries that even players in Liverpool, Spurs aren't getting. What have they done to earn it? Salah, for example, I can understand why he'd be on 300k a week with what he's done for Liverpool Football Club. That makes sense. What have Rashford, Anthony, Bruno, Casemiro, etc. done? No. Anti-Sons will get let's go Bilbao. Really? I don't know where your source for that, Lucky. 9 keep going, guys. Yep. Just call me liquor mate. Just call me liquor mate. No need to be. I should. Yeah. I just think it's funny. So so yeah. Big up liquor man. He doesn't know the Manchester era code. He's a glory hunter. Yeah, I do live up. I do live up north. I do live up north, man. I do live up north. So by a blue, you mean you're a Manchester City fan? I get it, you know. So, but yeah, I do live. I do live up north. So I don't actually live in Manchester, but I have been to multiple games. And I do have a seat. Well, I did have a season ticket, but I had to give my season ticket away because why'd I have to give my season ticket away? Someone had some health issues. That was why. So I couldn't I couldn't travel down to Old Trafford all the time. So, but yeah, big up Manchester, big up Manchester City, big up the Blues, and obviously doing well, man. But yeah, I know. And big up Zandra, big up buddy for the super sticker, man. Thank you so much for the channel. We really support that. I am going to hopefully try and revamp the member system as well for this channel. I will probably be doing that at some point soon, just revamping the memberships and all the rest of it. So stay tuned for that as well. We'll probably be a bit more cheaper, affordable, that type of thing. So yeah, to just get the community involved. Remember, bro, more jokes. Yep. And another thing saying, glad helping transfers in the chat. Yeah, thank you, Lucky. Also, do you think we should keep Kobe? Because I'm trying to think where he fits in this new system. I mean, we've been talking about that as well. I mean, it's the same thing. Oh, we are on 4.4K subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're there. Road to 4.5 now. Road to 5K. Thank you guys so much. Remember, like if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Do I think that we? I don't know. Is the question. What I would say is that it is wrong for us to sell the likes of Garnacho and Mainu without significant, without one. I think both of them minimum should be 60 in this market for the experience they have in the Premier League and their ability and their potential. But two, we should put in a sell-on clause. Okay, so if the player is sold on for a substantial amount, that United should get some money back from those. That is what I think. Because what I don't want is a situation where you sell a young player, because these guys are still relatively young, and then in 3 or 4 years they become what I mean. Look at a good example is what although we have a sell-on clause for Alvaro. Remember, we sold Alvaro to Benfica from Madrid, and now in the process of getting him, and they're paying I think Benfica, I think it's about 60 million, I think. And obviously, because we did put a buying clause, we'll be getting about, I think it's 5%. We'll be getting about 12 million from that, I think. So we need to put those into our players if we're going to sell them on. I wouldn't, but I don't know where he fits. Either Kobe adapts, because in that midfield, you've got Bruno, Mainu, Casemiro, Ugarte right now, and Toby Collier, I guess. So you've got 5 players for 2 positions. Collier will probably go on loan. Casemiro is still here. He'll probably play, but I don't think we'll renew his contract. So he's going to be going soon. Bruno, I still think in that whole position isn't good. And I'm not sure about Ugarte, to be honest. He's still here. It'll be fine. But it doesn't look to me like Amram really rates the guys. So I think Amram wants another midfielder. In which case, if we sign another midfielder, where does Menu come in? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, drop the sub, man. Yeah, drop the sub. Thanks, buddy. Yep. So for those who are watching, just who are just tuning in now, as a brief summary, guys, Manchester United have obviously put in a second bid. I'll just share this with Ben Jacobs. Have put in a second bid for Mbeumo. Hopefully, there should be a here we go coming fairly soon. With that, I think that potentially we might be live again today. I probably will be live again 10 p.m. BST. It does sound, this was a first experiment, by the way. So because I'm streaming at about, I thought it was about 2:30 in the afternoon BST. So maybe that might be something. Doing an afternoon show and a night show at 10 p.m. Possibly doing a morning show and English show. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, we're experimenting with times for the shows, afternoon, morning thingies. So, but I also know that people are watching from different time streams, different around the world. So I want to take that into account as well. So this has obviously been good, and I'll certainly be coming back to an afternoon show, possibly morning show as well when it comes to transfer news. I also like it because we're getting a lot of news that's coming as we speak and as we do things. So yeah. If you have not liked the vid, please like the vid already. Please subscribe, bottom right hand corner. It makes a massive difference. Whether you're a United fan or not, get involved. I appreciate it. And yeah, dropped up somebody. Big up, man. But yeah, the midfield is certainly going to be very interesting going to next season. It's going to be very, very interesting. So let's have a look. I'm just checking to see if there's been any updates quickly, because we probably might round up. So if I was to summarize of so far, if I was going to summarize so far, United have submitted their second bid for Mbeumo. Arsenal are in advanced talks with Benjamin Sesko, which likely means that Manchester United have a free pass in going to pursue Gyökeres. Raasmus Hojlund, potentially there's interlinks, interested in getting Raasmus Hojlund. And you know, we're still waiting to see on other departures as well. So I'm going to have a quick link. Obviously, for those who weren't chat, Victor Osimhen is not going to Al Hilal anymore. Those talks have broken down. So Osimhen is obviously still there. Let's have a look. Is there anything else? I just quickly go through some of the journalists, because we'd like to get to live news. Let's have a look. Nothing really from Ornstein either. Yeah, Ornstein dropped the bomber about the first deal, but it's not been updated since. So yeah. Oh, big up Desert 2, man. Thanks for the $10 super sap. Thanks for a great time. Perfect for my morning commute in Portland, Oregon. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it, man. So big up Desert 2, obviously Newcastle fan. So Magpies studio might be making another appearance next season. I'll just put that out. So depending on what happens, you might see more Magpies next season. So, but Newcastle will be definitely interesting to keep it out in the Champions League as well. So, but yeah, no, this is it's also good feedback as well, by the way. So because I often think that doing my 10, I tend to have a bit more time at 10. And it's only because I just have some free time now that I'm doing these afternoon ones. So it might be that I do these afternoon streams, you know, weekends, days off, etc., and sort of, you know, doing these things. You know, that's kind of how I probably will try and fit things. But this has been a good success so far. So I'm going to be experimenting on morning versus afternoon versus evening sort of streams and sort of take it from there. I think what I would say is, I think if there isn't any major changing news, we might not do the evening show today. We'll see what happens with that. But because I'm on high alert that potentially we might get Here We Go from Mbeumo soon. If that's the case, we will go live. We'll try and get a few people on, and we'll kind of try and discuss. Because if we get to Here We Go today, we can talk about how Mbeumo would fit into this Manchester United system and arrange, and we'll do a screen predictor, show how it would work, you know, and what Amram's best 11 will be, that type of thing. So it'll be a much more interactive sort of show in that respect. Yeah, missed that guy, Magpies. Yeah, Magpies definitely will be making over carry the next season. Certainly for Champions League, watch-dogs or what have you. So let's see what happens there. But thank you for the super chat, Desert Tune, man. I really, really do appreciate it. And if you do want to become a member of the channel, please hit that membership button. We're obviously trying to do exclusive videos and membership watch-alongs, etc. Well, I'm intending on revamping the system soon. Newcastle are paying for Manchester United. We are just bigger. So no, I mean, as much as you could badge Newcastle about it, at the end of the day, United finished 15th and Newcastle finished 5th. I think they'll probably be fine in enjoying Champions League football next season, where United are just going to focus on Premier League football, you know. So, but let's see what happens. You know, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, guys. I think we'll round things up. Remember, if you're new to channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at Red Devil Studio, Red Devil Studio X. The socials are on the bottom. We are on Twitch. We are on Instagram. We are on Kick as well. Have a nice day, everyone. We may be back. Hopefully, there will be a here we go to Manchester United coming soon. Have a nice day, everyone, and cheers. Peace.